Hello and welcome to The Sensible Witch. I'm Julie and this is a channel where we talk about common sense witchcraft. Today I wanted to review my top 10 favorite witchcraft books. There are tons of books out there, tons of great books, and some are not so great, but we'll go through a few of my favorites today, and I'd like to hear about your favorites in the comments below. So I love to read and I love to learn. One of my favorite things about paganism and witchcraft is that there is so much to learn. There are so many topics to research: spell work, animism, spirit work, the fae, magic for most of life circumstances, astral travel, tarot, astrology, crystals, ancestors, deity work, and so much more. So this is my magical bookcase. I have over 200 books, both in physical form and in digital or audible. Honestly, my favorite way to read books is to listen to the audiobook and then mark sections in my physical copies. I have so many books that I have a spreadsheet on all of my books and notes on each book and the year that I read them. I also use the reading list app on my phone because I have trouble keeping track of everything, and I have bought multiple books on several occasions, so trying not to do that anymore. When I first started my witchcraft practice and study, I bought too many books. For several years, I bought way more books than I was able to read. I'm still working my way through, but have become much more selective about the books that I buy. I've also given away many books that I don't need to reference and wouldn't read again. So currently I have read about 118 books, I think is the number. And here are my top 10 that are favorites or that changed my magical practice in some way. First of all is The Kabbalion by 3 initiates. I took a magic class and my instructor suggested that we all read this book. And as you can see, it's not a very thick book, but this book is packed with stuff that frankly will blow your mind. So it goes through the 7 basic principles in depth, which are mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. So I think this book will change the way you think about the universe. It definitely did in my case. And it's a quick read, but you may want to read it a couple of times to absorb all the information, because even though it's thin, a couple of these books are thin, they are packed with amazing stuff. The second book, I had to pick one by Christopher Penczak, The Inner Temple of Witchcraft by Christopher Penczak. Excuse me. This book is a little bit more of a chunky read, but it's not too bad. It talks about meditation, the science of magic, hermetic principles, law of synchronicity. Talks about instant magic, psychic self-defense, light work, energy anatomy, aura cleansing, and inner temple work. And it includes 34 exercises that you can kind of work your way through the book. So honestly, anything by Christopher Penczak I find to be pretty good. And they're easy to read. So definitely recommend this one. The next book that is one of my favorites and I recommend, and again, anything by this author, is 6 Ways by Aidan Wachter. I think I said that right, hopefully. Again, a really thin book, but this book is packed full of amazing stuff, as are all of his books. He's got a great one on hypersigils, so fantastic stuff. And again, kind of changed the way I looked at my practice. So this book is kind of a handbook of simple but profound magic. The topics include sigils, servitors, meditation, trance, cleansing, warding, dreams, candle magic, and performing effective magic, plus lots of exercises as well. So again, fantastic book, fantastic author. definitely changed the way I thought about my magic. So highly recommend that one as well. The next one of my favorites is The Crooked Path by Keldon. I actually met Keldon and was fortunate enough to talk to him for a few minutes and get him to sign my book. And he was looking at all the tabs in the top of my book, and he said, "Oh man," he said, "this is what I love to see. You know, people that are really taking some serious wisdom from his books." And he's an amazing author as well. So this one is a little bit more along the lines of traditional witchcraft. So it dives pretty deep into that. It talks about tools and rituals, spellcraft, the witch father and mother, ancestors, familiars, fetches, working with the land and weather and planets. So a lot of stuff again in this fairly small book. And this one includes 47 exercises to walk you through the work recommended in here. So this is a fabulous book. The next book is one that I recommend to everybody. When people are asking about books, what should I start with? What's the very first thing I should read as a witch? This is it. Psychic Witch by Matt Oren. This, I think the name on this is a little bit misleading because it's not really about being psychic. This is a primer on energy work. This is for every witch. This is how to do energy work, which is witchcraft. So if you're going to be doing that, you definitely need to read this book. So it takes you through energy work in amazing detail, working between the worlds, the higher self elements. This one includes 107 exercises to work you through the very beginnings of energy work up to the point where you need to be doing spell work. And recently I got a copy. This is the hardback copy. It's absolutely beautiful. It has kind of blue outlines on the pages, but it's amazingly beautiful. I had the there's another. I had the paperback copy of this, which I read through the first time, and passed that on to another witch when I got this hardcover deluxe edition. But like I said, I think every witch needs to read this, my opinion, but a fabulous book, and I've heard other people say the same. So this one is amazing. The next book I recommend is Of Blood and Bones by Kate Fruhler. Hopefully I said that correctly. This book kind of delves into stuff that no other book does. And the title kind of tells you what we're working with here. I don't want to go into too much detail and upset YouTube here, but this book is about working with dark moon energies, working with animal parts, puppet work, magical manipulations, death and rebirth, ethical considerations, hands-on techniques, dark deities, and graveyard work. So if you're interested in working with different pieces and parts of animals, I definitely recommend this book. It is amazing. And kind of along those lines as well, we have to go into my favorite book on the darker magic, which is Utterly Wicked by Dorothy Morrison. This book is the primer on hexes and curses. Again, not a huge book, but as you can see, lots of great stuff in here. So this one goes into baneful magic discussions, dirt magic, puppet magic, instructions, reversals. It has an entire section. The whole back of the book is different spells that you can use, or you can use these as a basis and then kind of create your own, but use this as a guide when you're planning your spell work. So fantastic book, recommend it. The next one is a fairly new release. I think it came out earlier this year. And this book is Ensouling the Effigy by Matthew Venus. Again, I was fortunate to meet Matthew at a witchcraft show, my body show. I attended 2 of his seminars, and I was just blown away. I just kept thinking, I need more from you. I need more. Give me more information. He said he had a book coming out, so I pre-ordered the book and was able to get a copy as soon as it came out. I read it again, tons of notes here. This book is a big one. It'll take you a little bit to get through. But this book covers so much. It talks about the history of the effigies, talks about animism, consciousness, defining and working with the other world, the language of spirits, conjuring and communicating with spirits, inspirited objects and their creation, holy idols, care, and offerings. And this is basically, if you need it, and I did, a step-by-step guide on how to create an effigy. I took what I learned from this book and I created a poppet. I have a sick kitty. I created a poppet for her and used that to help me in her healing work, and it really has helped. So this is definitely an amazing book. And again, I've heard other people say how much they're enjoying this book. So definitely check this one out. Okay, so moving on to tarot books, and I have a ton of tarot books, and they were all just kind of okay until I got to this book, and this book was recommended by a friend of mine, and this one is called Wild Card, Let the Tarot Tell Your Story by Jen Cowney and Fiona Lensfeld. So, this book is a typical tarot book, and it's got the card descriptions, questions to ask yourself. It has numerous spreads. Talks about cutting cards, journaling, practicing patterns, and choosing and caring for your deck. This book doesn't cover reversals, but if you're just starting out in tarot, I don't think you really need to confuse yourself with reversals. If you're just learning the basic system, this is a great book to start with. Another thing that I liked about this book was that it's got a lot of humor in it. I love a book that incorporates some humor. It looks like it's fairly long, but honestly, it didn't take me very long to get through this, but I'm a quick reader. But again, definitely would recommend this for your first tarot book. It's a good one. Now, I talked a little bit earlier about buying a bunch of magic books, and I think that a lot of us when we start end up with a bunch of spell books in particular. So I thought that I would recommend one that I thought would be a good kind of overall beginner book and a great spell book. Kind of the only one you need. So this is Pure Magic by Judica Isles, and she has some fantastic stuff. I love this author. I love the way she writes. Again, I listened to this one in audiobook, so it's not all marked up, but I ended up buying the book because I thought it was a fantastic one. So, and this book kind of covers everything. It covers elements, colors, supplies, tools, animals, spirits, minerals and metals, botanicals, dreams, and a whole chapter of spells in the back. So I personally enjoy her style. It's very easy to read, and I really did enjoy this book. So if you're only going to buy one book at the beginning, I recommend this book. It kind of has everything you need to get started, along with Psychic Witch by Matt Oren. So those are my top 10 books, but I do have one bonus. So I mentioned earlier that you really only need one spell book to kind of get an idea of how spells work, and then you want to start creating your own spells. And to do that, you're going to need a book of correspondences. So this is my favorite one. This is Llewellyn's Complete Book of Correspondences. I think this is by Sandra Kynes. Yes, by Sandra Kynes. So when you're putting your spell together, this book goes through everything. You know, what colors you want to work with, herbs you want to work with, planetary correspondences, everything. So this book will have whatever you're looking for to plan your spell. So it's a fantastic book. It's not a book you want to read cover to cover. It's a reference book. So when you're planning your spell, you can kind of look through here and see, you know, okay, I want to do a spell on introspection. And it's got this whole section of all the correspondences that you might want to use when you're planning your spell. So definitely recommend this one. So like I said, those are my top 10. I would love to see what your top 10 are. So if you care to comment below and share those with everybody, I'd love to take a look at them. So thank you for watching today. Please don't forget, like and subscribe if you enjoy my content, and share this video with your friends. And I will see you in the next one.